What is this now? Proof. I don't know what you're talking about. You altered my presentation. You sent fake emails to clients, and I have evidence of all of it. That's ridiculous. Then explain why your long gone was used to access my files the night they were changed.
Energy radiated through the busy halls of Arcadia marketing, carried in the chatter and the clinking of coffee cups. Amid the activity, two women drew attention. Karen, a bright and creative junior executive known for innovative ideas, and Nerissa, her coworker who appeared friendly and supportive, but whose polite smile hid a quiet, carefully kept envy. "Listen up, everyone," Mr. Fletcher called, trying to capture everyone's attention. "We're competing for a major client, and this pitch could take our company to the next level. The top two performers won't just secure the deal, they'll also earn bonuses and promotion."
Listen up, everyone. We're competing for a major client, and this pitch could take our company to the next level. The top two performers won't just secure the deal, they'll also earn bonuses and promotion.
As Mr. Fletcher outlined expectations, the weight of his gaze felt heavy on Karen. She had worked tirelessly for this moment, every late night and early morning, fueling her passion. Yet, the heavy air buzzed with unspoken rivalry. Although friendliness was usually the norm in the office, a quiet unease settled over the team. The atmosphere, once light and collaborative, had grown heavier with unspoken competition. Nerissa, eager to preserve her polished charm and social standing, began quietly undermining Karen in casual conversations with other coworkers. She would drop small, seemingly innocent remarks that planted seeds of doubt about Karen's abilities, skillfully keeping her motives hidden. Meanwhile, Karen remained unaware, focused on her work, leaving Nerissa free to weave her quiet web of subtle manipulation. As the competition grew more intense, Karen focused carefully on building her pitch, putting all her creativity and knowledge into every detail. She worked late, refining each idea and double-checking her notes, fully invested in making her presentation perfect. Meanwhile, Nerissa was already quietly setting her plan in motion, subtly undermining Karen and sowing doubts behind her back. Moves that Karen had no idea were happening, leaving her vulnerable to the quiet schemes unfolding around her. The upcoming networking event was alive with opportunity. Karen and Nerissa readied themselves to mingle, but an unspoken tension hung over them. They both knew this gathering was more than casual conversation. It was a quiet battlefield, where only the most prepared and confident would come out on top. After delivering a flawless pitch, Karen allowed herself a quiet moment to soak in the well-earned praise and sense of accomplishment. Her ideas had landed perfectly, the clients impressed, and for a moment, the world seemed to shine in her favor. But in the same room, just a few steps away, Nerissa's calm exterior masked a storm of frustration. Beneath her polite smile, her mind churned with plans and schemes, already calculating the next move to chip away at Karen's triumph. While Karen basked in recognition, Nerissa was silently sharpening her strategy, ensuring that no victory would remain unchallenged. As the meetings continued, the tension inside the office became impossible to ignore. Nerissa no longer hid her hostility behind polite smiles. Every idea Karen presented suddenly became a problem. Karen stood beside the projector, confidently explaining her campaign strategy to the team. "I believe this campaign will connect emotionally with younger audiences," she said.
I believe this campaign will connect emotionally with younger audiences.
A few coworkers nodded in agreement. Nerissa slowly leaned back in her chair. "Are you sure the data supports that?" Karen glanced at her. "Yes, I checked everything twice."
Are you sure the data supports that? Yes. I checked everything twice.
Nerissa gave a faint smile. Confidence doesn't always mean accuracy. The room fell quiet. Karen crossed her arms. "If you have a problem with my proposal, say it clearly." Nerissa shrugged innocently. "Why are you getting defensive?"
Confidence doesn't always mean accuracy. If you have a problem with my proposal, say it clearly. Why are you getting defensive?
Before Karen could answer, Mr. Thompson stepped in. All right. Enough. Let's stay focused. Karen slowly sat down, but her eyes remained fixed on Nerissa. And in that moment, she realized something disturbing. Nerissa wasn't just competing with her anymore. She was trying to destroy her. Every new email in Karen's inbox felt heavier than the last. Each subject line carrying a subtle, almost threatening undertone. Whispers of doubt slithered through the office corners, and she could sense them. Murmurs questioning her competence. Glances exchanged that lingered just a little too long. Her stomach knotted as the pattern became clear. Nerissa's jealousy had shifted into something more deliberate, a carefully plotted sabotage. Karen opened one of the messages, her eyes scanning the words with a growing unease. This isn't just office politics anymore, she muttered under her breath, leaning back in her chair. This is personal.
This isn't just office politics anymore. This is personal.
Meanwhile, across the room, Nerissa watched with a faint smile, her fingers dancing lightly over her keyboard, sending another carefully crafted email.
Yes.
Each move was precise, calculated, designed to isolate Karen and chip away at her confidence. The battle had begun, and Karen found herself ensnared in Nerissa's invisible but inescapable web. Rumors spread quickly through the office, fueled by Nerissa's carefully crafted lies about Karen's work ethic. Every unsuspecting coworker, unwittingly, became a messenger for her gossip, passing it along without question. Meanwhile, Karen remained completely unaware that the trust of her colleagues was starting to slip away. Feeling more and more isolated, a colleague who had always offered his support, she found him leaning against a filing cabinet, quietly reviewing his notes. She hesitated for a moment, then let out a long breath, the tension in her shoulders slowly easing. "Ronan, I don't know how much longer I can keep this together," Karen admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Ronan looked up, his expression calm but filled with concern. "Stay strong, Em," he said, placing a reassuring hand on her arm. "You've got this. Don't let Nerissa's games get under your skin."
Ronan, I don't know how much longer I can keep this together.
Don't let Nerissa's games get under your skin.
Karen nodded, grateful for his steady presence. A spark of focus and determination returned, ready for the challenges ahead. Late nights became a regular part of Karen's routine. As she poured herself into perfecting her projects, her focus and determination never wavered, but a quiet sense of unease lingered. Unknown to her, Nerissa was watching from the shadows, carefully plotting her next move with sharp calculation. Pretending to be friendly, Nerissa carried out her first act of sabotage, a daring move that could cost Karen everything. Under the cover of night, she slipped into Karen's workspace, with the quiet confidence of a predator, stalking its prey. Her fingers moved swiftly and precisely as she altered the presentation slides, a faint, almost mischievous smile spreading across her face as she imagined the chaos that would follow. The office was nearly empty when Karen finally opened her presentation for one last review before the pitch. Exhaustion weighed heavily on her eyes. But the moment the slides appeared on her screen, her stomach dropped. What the hell? She leaned closer to the monitor, scrolling quickly through the presentation. Important figures had been changed. Entire sections were missing. Her breathing became uneven as panic slowly crept in. No, this can't be happening. Karen checked the file again, hoping she was mistaken, but the damage was real. Someone had tampered with her work. Her hands trembled slightly as realization settled over her. Then her phone buzzed. It was Nerissa. "Still at the office?" the text read. Karen stared at the message, her heart pounding harder. For a moment, the entire room felt colder. She looked toward the dark hallway outside her office, her mind racing with suspicion. And deep down, she already knew who did it. The day of the pitch had arrived, and the conference room radiated with energy as executives took their seats. Eager to hear Karen's presentation, Karen's heart raced, not just from nerves, but from the unsettling knowledge that Nerissa had already set her plan in motion. As Karen stood in the spotlight, she felt her heart hammering in her chest. Every breath seemed heavier. Every word she spoke a test of her composure. Nerissa seized the moment, her voice slicing through the room. "Are you certain this data is reliable? What if it misleads us?" she asked, calm on the surface, but sharp and pointed beneath.
Are you certain this data is reliable? What if it misleads us?
Karen's pulse raced, her hands gripping the edge of the podium. I double-checked everything, she said, her voice slightly trembling, trying to steady herself.
I double-checked everything.
Nerissa leaned in slightly, her gaze fixed. Because if this is wrong, it could cost us the client.
Because if this is wrong, it could cost us the client.
Karen swallowed hard, her heart pounding faster. I've accounted for every variable. It's accurate, she said, forcing a steady tone, though inside her chest felt like it might burst.
I've accounted for every variable. It's accurate.
Just as she braced for Nerissa's next attack, a sharp voice from the client broke in. I'm not sure Nerissa's concern is valid. Can we review the data she's questioning? Relief washed over Karen in an instant. She exhaled, a small smile forming as the unexpected support gave her the opening to regain control, reinforcing her ideas and reclaiming the room's attention. After the pitch ended successfully, a surge of joy and relief washed over Karen as she was named the primary contact for the client. The celebratory atmosphere glows with excitement as Karen receives praise from her colleagues. And Mr. Fletcher. Across the room, Nerissa stayed calm on the surface, but inside, she was boiling with frustration and jealousy. Her jaw tightened as she watched Karen get the praise she had hoped to receive. Every smile and congratulatory handshake Karen earned made Nerissa's resentment grow, creating a quiet, tense energy between them. Driven by jealousy, Nerissa started planning a more serious revenge, thinking constantly about how to regain her influence in the company. With each passing day, her determination grew, watching Karen closely and collecting every opportunity she could use, carefully plotting a calculated game of office politics. The rivalry between Karen and Nerissa had reached a boiling point, and Karen could feel the pressure pressing down from every angle. The company's expectations, the eyes of colleagues, and the looming deadlines. Each day felt heavier than the last. Her focus and energy stretched to the limit. Meanwhile, Nerissa was quietly plotting, her mind calculating each move, preparing for the confrontation she had been meticulously planning. The tension in the office was almost tangible, a storm gathering just beyond Karen's awareness, ready to erupt and send shockwaves through every corner of their workplace. The air seemed charged, each glance, each whispered conversation hinting at the chaos that was about to unfold, and Karen remained oblivious to the tempest closing in on her. With her plan set, Nerissa aimed to make Karen take the blame for an upcoming client mistake, carefully plotting every step of her revenge. She sat at her desk in the quiet office, fingers flying over the keyboard as she drafted carefully worded emails designed to cast doubt on Karen's work. Nerissa's eyes glinted with satisfaction as she imagined the chaos that would unfold, every detail meticulously plotted to undermine her rival and solidify her own position. Nerissa sat across from a group of key clients during a casual coffee meeting, her expression calm and friendly. But beneath that polite exterior, her mind raced with strategies to undermine Karen. She leaned in slightly, her voice low but confident. I just want to be sure we're all seeing the full picture, she said. A hint of doubt woven into her tone. Some details in Karen's report seemed unclear.
I just want to be sure we're all seeing the full picture. Some details in Karen's report seemed unclear.
The clients exchanged glances with uncertainty in their eyes. Nerissa smiled reassuringly, concealing her joy. It's always best to double-check. I would hate for any faults to go overlooked.
It's always best to double-check. I would hate for any faults to go overlooked.
As the clients considered Nerissa's suggestions, Their confidence in Karen began to waver, just as Nerissa had planned, creating a dangerous illusion that threatened to damage her rival's reputation. With Karen's final report due, Nerissa carefully set her trap. She misrepresented key details to their boss, weighing every risk and counting on Karen to take the blame once the truth came out. As whispers and rumors began to spread, the energy in the office shifted noticeably. Karen, who had once been recognized and celebrated for her hard work and contributions, now felt the walls closing in around her. Colleagues, who had smiled and collaborated with her before now, kept their distance, speaking in hushed tones and casting cautious glances. The weight of betrayal pressed heavily on her shoulders, turning the once lively, friendly teamwork into a tense, silent environment. Every passing moment felt isolating, each interaction a reminder that the bonds she had relied on were slowly unraveling, leaving her to navigate the subtle hostility alone. Karen entered Mr. Fletcher's office, and the conversation that followed was tense. She hesitated for a moment before speaking, her mind clouded with doubt. "Mr. Fletcher, do you think I handled that client concern correctly?" she asked, her eyes flicking to the neatly organized files on his desk. He looked up from his paperwork, calm and attentive. "You did well, Karen. Your points were clear and thorough. But remember, every client reacts differently, and sometimes things don't land exactly as we expect."
Mr. Fletcher, do you think I handled that client concern correctly?
You did well, Karen. Your points were clear and thorough. But remember, every client reacts differently, and sometimes things don't land exactly as we expect.
Karen shifted slightly, a hint of worry in her voice. I want to make sure I'm doing everything right." "You're capable, Mr. Fletcher reassured her, leaning back slightly in his chair. "Trust your work and your judgment. You've got this."
I want to make sure I'm doing everything right.
You're capable. Trust your work and your judgment. You've got this.
As she left his office, Karen's confidence wavered, the lingering effect of Nerissa's whispers twisting her certainty into doubt. Determined not to let her hard work go to waste, Karen picked up the phone and began making urgent calls to her clients. Her hands shook slightly, but her voice remained steady, carrying a mix of clarity and urgency. "I wanted to clarify a few points from the report to ensure everything is on track," she said to one client. Her words deliberate and precise. With each call, she could feel her confidence returning, the tension in her chest easing slightly as she regained control of her narrative. Around her, the office breathed quietly, oblivious to the silent battle unfolding over the phone. Karen refused to let Nerissa's schemes dictate the outcome. As Nerissa's influence grew stronger with each passing day, the pressure on Karen mounted. She could feel the tension in the office, the sideways glances and hushed conversations, all signaling the power Nerissa was quietly amassing. Karen's jaw tightened as she realized that she could no longer ignore the situation. Every instinct told her it was time to confront Nerissa, directly before her hostility spiraled completely out of control. The tension between Karen and Nerissa finally exploded behind closed doors. "We need to talk," Karen said as she stepped into the conference room. Nerissa looked up calmly. "About what?" "You know exactly what." Nerissa smirked. "Still blaming me for your problems?" "You sabotaged my presentation." Nerissa slowly stood. "Maybe people are finally realizing you're not as perfect as you act." Karen's jaw tightened. "My mistake was trusting you."
We need to talk. About what? Ugh, you know exactly what. Still blaming me for your problems?
You sabotaged my presentation.
Maybe people are finally realizing you're not as perfect as you act. My mistake was trusting you.
For the first time, Nerissa's smile disappeared, and suddenly, the rivalry between them felt far more dangerous than simple office competition. As the two women confronted each other, their colleagues felt the pressure to take sides, creating a divide within the team. It was as if the office had been split in two, with trust weakened and loyalty hanging uncertainly in the air. The emotional strain began to wear on Karen. Sleepless nights filled with thoughts of betrayal weighed heavily on her, pressing on her heart. Even as she continued to push forward, the sharp sting of mistrust lingered, becoming an unwelcome, constant companion. Feeling more and more isolated, Karen tried reaching out to her coworkers, hoping to find allies in her struggle against Nerissa, but many were hesitant and unsure who to trust, making every attempt to gain support feel like a difficult uphill battle. Nerissa, confident in her manipulation, began fanning the flames of conflict further. She reveled in her supposed victory, boasting about it behind Karen's back. Fueling the fire, she slipped anonymous notes under coworkers' doors, feeding their anxieties and stirring suspicion against Karen. As the tension in the office grew, Karen could feel a heavy sense of unease hanging over every day. New challenges seemed to appear constantly, and Nerissa's next move felt as looming and unpredictable as a storm cloud. Karen struggled with the choice between retaliating or staying above the conflict, feeling herself teetering on the edge of breaking under the pressure. At a big company event, the atmosphere was lively, with coworkers chatting, laughing, and enjoying the celebration. But beneath the surface, tension simmered as Nerissa quietly put her most dangerous plan into motion. She intended to mislead clients, subtly sabotage Karen's presentation, and plant rumors among coworkers, all while creating distractions to make Karen appear unprepared. The festive mood quickly turned tense, with coworkers forcing smiles, whispering quietly, and darting nervous glances as the brewing conflict spread through the room. Karen moved through the crowd, unaware of the trap, while Nerissa observed from a distance, her every action calculated to create maximum disruption. The event, meant to be a celebration, had become a silent battlefield. Each glance and gesture weighted with rivalry. Just as Nerissa prepared to deliver her most cunning blow, the timing unraveled. In a dramatic twist, Karen stepped forward, clutching a folder with clear evidence that could change everything. "This is the accurate report," she announced.
This is the accurate report.
Her voice steady despite the tension. Clients and coworkers shifted their attention, their doubts now turning toward Nerissa instead. The careful plans of manipulation, sabotage, and rumor spreading had failed, and the balance of power in the room shifted decisively in Karen's favor. The next day, the office was tense as Karen confronted Nerissa in front of their colleagues. The entire office fell silent as Karen stepped forward, a folder clutched tightly in her hands. Nerissa forced a smile. "What is this now?" Karen dropped the folder onto the table. "Proof." Confused murmurs spread across the room.
What is this now? Proof.
Nerissa's expression flickered. "I don't know what you're talking about. You altered my presentation. You sent fake emails to clients, and I have evidence of all of it."
I don't know what you're talking about. You altered my presentation. You sent fake emails to clients, and I have evidence of all of it.
Nerissa's confidence began to crack. "That's ridiculous," she snapped. Karen opened the folder calmly. "Then explain why your login was used to access my files the night they were changed."
That's ridiculous. Then explain why your longon was used to access my files the night they were changed.
The room erupted into whispers. Nerissa looked around nervously as all eyes turned toward her. For the first time since this started, she had nowhere left to hide. As Nerissa's schemes were exposed, her carefully maintained mask fell apart. Colleagues stared in shock as the full extent of her deceit became clear. Karen stood vindicated, but she couldn't help wondering what this hard-won victory might cost her in the long run. The office remained silent long after the confrontation ended. One by one, employees drifted away, leaving Nerissa alone with the ruins of the lies she had spent months building. The evidence was undeniable. Her manipulation, sabotage, and deception had finally caught up with her. Later that afternoon, Mr. Fletcher called her into his office. The meeting was brief. By the time Nerissa walked out carrying a cardboard box of personal belongings, everyone knew her career at Arcadia was over. As Nerissa headed toward the elevator, she noticed Karen standing alone near the lobby windows. For a moment, neither woman spoke. "I never meant for it to go this far," Nerissa finally said. her voice barely above a whisper. Karen studied her carefully. You had so many chances to stop. Nerissa lowered her gaze. I know.
I never meant for it to go this far. You had so many chances to stop. I know.
The weight of regret hung between them. Nerissa looked at Karen across the lobby. For a moment, it seemed she wanted to say something. She didn't. Then she turned and walked away. In the aftermath, Karen struggled to come to terms with her victory. What had begun as friendly competition had turned into a harsh struggle for survival. While she felt the thrill of success, it was tinged with a quiet awareness of the damage and fallout left behind. Determined to rebuild her relationships. After everything that had happened, Karen took the first steps to mend fences. She knew that trust takes time to restore, so she reached out to her colleagues, hoping for reconciliation and understanding. With her reputation restored, Karen was presented with new projects, new beginnings born from the ashes of betrayal and ambition. Each opportunity became a chance to rediscover the joy of collaboration that had been lost amidst the chaos. Even though her success felt satisfying, Karen couldn't ignore the lingering sting of betrayal in her heart. A lesson learned too late. The experiences she had gone through left lasting marks, reminding her of the true cost of ambition and the challenges that come with it. Determined to find closure, Karen recognized her experience had changed her, both at work and in friendships. Her priorities felt clearer now, her journey transforming her perspective on competition, and she resolved to move forward with intention. Throughout her journey, Karen learned that ambition and integrity could go hand in hand. Choosing empathy over competition, she realized that the most important lessons weren't just about professional success, but about building meaningful connections with others. Finding the balance between staying true to herself and succeeding in a competitive world became her guiding principle. In the end, Karen realized that life is made up of both successes and challenges. Every setback had helped her grow and learn. With a heart full of gratitude, she embraced her journey and felt ready to face whatever the future held, guided by integrity and courage.